God has really been doing something lately. Like I said, my sermons are, God is teaching me life. He's teaching me, it's crazy because I've been watching some pictures and God has been speaking to me as I watch these pictures. Today's message is going to be called True Love, True Friends. And I have to break these two stories down because I have to get people to understand between the difference of true love and true friends. I was looking at a picture and it was so crazy, and three lady friends, and all of them was friends and a little older and whatnot. I guess in their late 30s, early 40s, and just trying to figure out life. You know, um, One young lady, had a husband that she married. Things didn't work out. They got a divorce. They got back together again and whatnot because, she didn't want to be alone and she thought getting back married to him and whatnot, they can work things out. The other one was a little older, uh, and she fell in love with her friend's son, who was a lot younger than her. And then the other one had a boyfriend that she was together with for almost 17 years. And I guess, he was trying to get himself together and they never got married. And he was trying to get himself together. But in the interim of him trying to get himself together, I guess he lost sight of them. But in the same time, she thought going out, being with somebody that had money and somebody that can afford to give her things and do things for her, that would be the way to go. you know See, what God is showing me is true love, true friends. Wow. Sometimes, we get together as couples, we get together as married people, we get together as friends, and even in relationships, everybody thinks that, when you fall in love with somebody and whatnot, that should change everything. Love is only the beginning. Love is not the answer. Because when you take two people that's totally different from each other and you try to combine these two people together, you have different attitudes, you have different ways, you have different likes and different dislikes, you have your own ideas and your own mind, and you trying to put a complex situation into one thing and then you call it love. And it's not all just about love. You have to have more than love to sit up here and survive a relationship. And yet and still we get people that fall in love with each other and we think that because we love each other, that's going to make the relationship strive. That's going to make the relationship last. That's going to make you get through everything. And that's not the case. There's nobody ever sit up here and got divorced and whatnot. If you ask them, they could sit up here and say that love kept them together because they was in love at one time and something went wrong. The communication, the friendship, or the whatever went wrong. And the love did not keep them together. So it's not just about loving somebody. It's more deeper than that. It's about having an understanding. It's about sharing and caring. It's about the complex things that you bring together. It's about being a friend first before you can even fall in love with somebody. Because see, we're so quick to sit up here and say we love somebody, but then you're not even friends with them. Okay? The first thing I always say and whatnot, you have to be friends with the person first before you can even have a relationship. The problem is we get involved with relationships without having friendship first. And then we wonder why things go on. And you know what a friend is? Okay, over a relationship. A friend is somebody that when you going through things, they got your back. When you sit up here and make a mistake, they forgive you. When you sit up here and don't know which direction to go, they help you out and tell you the truth. When you sit up here and do things that's against them, They still forgive you. They got your back. They're going to sit up here and tell you everything. They're not going to hold a grudge against you. Yeah, they're going to be mad at you. Yes, they're going to be upset at you. But you know what? They're going to forgive you. They're going to love you. They're going to keep working with you. That's because they became your friend first. If you don't have friendship first, real friendship, true friendship first, you cannot have love. And yet and still we jump out of the friendship part first and we go into love part. And then when the love don't work, we sit up here and say, well, you know what? It was the love that failed. No, it wasn't the love that failed. It was the friendship that failed. The friendship that should have started that never started. Okay? And you sit up here and you went directly in from a so-called supposed to be friends into a relationship, into a marriage without knowing who the person is you're marrying. And I see it all the time. How many times have we sit up here and got together with somebody that you can't even communicate with? Got together with somebody that has an issue with forgiveness, an issue with conversating. You know, we trust me. I've been there, done that. I know. I'm telling you. You know, getting involved with somebody and whatnot that you can't talk to them and you don't have a relationship with them. You didn't build that from the beginning. And then sometimes you can build that from the beginning, but somewhere along the line and whatnot, one of y'all or both of y'all lost the communication of talking, lost the communication of getting together, lost that intertwined session where y'all was totally different and y'all brought each other together as one. And we don't do that anymore. We stopped doing that. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes it's a good thing to save it, and sometimes you just got to know when to walk away from things. Because we don't like to walk away from things. And sometimes you just need to walk away from things. And you don't have to walk away from the person and don't be their friend. You don't have to walk away from the person and be enemies. Okay? You know, that's the problem with human beings. We always want to sit up here and it's a one or other situation. Either you walk away from somebody with regret, with anger, with disappointment, everything else, or you can walk away being a friendship or you and still loving that person. Okay? That's so funny because no matter what we do, God still loves us. No matter what we do, Jesus still loves us. Jesus loved us so much, even with the stuff that we do. And talk about differences. Our differences and God's difference and Jesus' difference is totally different. Yet and still, he sit up here and died on the cross for us. Even with our differences, he loved us that much that he died on the cross for us. God loved us so much that he gave his only son for us. And we're so different because we was born sinners. Jesus was without sin. God is without sin, but we was. You want to talk about difference? That's a difference all the way around. And yet and still, God gave his son, and Jesus gave up his life for us. And we have a problem forgiving each other. We have a problem with separating from each other and whatnot and still being friends and still loving each other. Why? Because we operate on human emotions and not godly emotions. True love, true friends. When you talk about that, God showed me in these pictures and whatnot, you understand me, that when these friends who was friends for 30 years, 40 years and whatnot, you understand me, finally realized their friendship meant more than anything else and whatnot. The love that they had for each other meant more for anything else. They sit up here and they forgave each other. They got back together again. They made things right. Okay? And they lived life and whatnot as friends. The love that they had for each other came back. And yet and still we don't do that because we're so convinced that somebody hurt you or somebody disappointed you, you know, and we hold on to grudges and we hold on to the past that people did. Everybody's not perfect. There's nobody that walks this earth that's perfect. And yet and still we always want to operate like we're perfect. And there's none of us perfect. We all gonna make mistakes. We all gonna do things that's against each other sometimes. We all gonna sit up here and wow, just do things and whatnot that the other one just don't like. That's because we're human beings. We operate on a human being level. We don't operate on a Christly level all the time. I don't care how much you claim to be Christ-like or whatever. You can sit up here and be Christ-like and ask for forgiveness, but every day you're going to make a mistake. Every day you're going to do something that's sinful. Every day you're going to have to ask God to forgive you for something. Or every day God has forgiven you for something. That's because we're not perfect within ourselves, but Jesus is. So stop holding grudges against each other. Stop sitting up here thinking that love is going to save everything, because it's not the love that's going to save everything. It's the bringing together the two different people that's totally different from each other, bringing it together and whatnot, and operating on a godly love, learning out who's who, each other. You have to learn who each other is. You have to become friends first before you can start anything. And without the friendship, the marriage is not going to work. Without the friendship, the love affair is not going to work. Without the friendship, the true friendship, the love part was not the true love is not going to happen, because you have to have the friendship first. Father, I just thank you for this message that you've given. You've been giving me some wonderful, beautiful messages. And it's so funny, because the message you've given me is not coming from the church. It's not coming from the pulpit. It's coming from pictures that you're allowing me to see. And you're opening up my eyes to things and whatnot. And reality is sitting in. And hopefully somebody can sit up here and listen to this message and understand what the reality is about true love, true friendship. So, Father, I just want to give you all the glory, all the honor, all the praise. I thank you for these messages. In Jesus' name, amen.